Today on The Confident Patient in a New World, we are joined by not one, but two special guests, and we can't wait to talk with them. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Beth Myers, founder of 2 by 2 Health and co author of The Confident Patient. I am joined today by my colleague and co author, Wendy Benson. We all know the important roles of nutrition and exercise in staying healthy. If you're like me, it has been quite a challenge to maintain any type of healthy lifestyle this last year. We generally know what we need to eat well and stay active, but a lot of the time it's just not that simple. And add to it the stress of the pandemic, and it may seem near impossible to get motivated. With us today are our very own 2 by 2 health dietitians, Kim and Kristen. Hi, we are so happy you can join us today. Wendy, I know you have a strong interest in this topic too. Would you like to get us started?
I would love to. And Kim and Kristen, we are so excited that you're here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you. So great to be here.
So my first question is really for both of you. I mean, I think that there are those of us that are interested in having a healthy lifestyle, but then there's those of you that say, not only do I care about this for myself, but this is something that I want to instill in others. I'm interested in number one, how it became a career choice for you. And then number two, what really your recommendations are in terms of like your specialty areas and the areas that are really motivating for you to focus on when you're working with your clients. Let's start with you, Kim.
That's awesome. Awesome question. And thank you again so much for having us today. It's a great pleasure to work with you both and your entire team. So a little background on me. I have been interested in food, in particular, nutrition and movement since I was a small person. And a lot of people who go on to study nutrition usually have some sort of negative history with food too. I grew up like doing ballet and dance and never had a very positive self-image, and that sort of poured over into my food relationship really. So I became really interested in trying to do something good about that in high school and went into college studying nutrition and never looked back, truly never changed careers, never studied anything different, although I do have hobbies. And in particular, working as a dietitian for the past 10 years, I've had a lot of different experience doing really great and cool different things, working inpatient, outpatient, ICU, diabetes, all these things. But for the last 7 years, I've been solely dedicated to weight management. And I hold a special certification. I had to take an exam and pass a test to be sort of specialized in the area of obesity and weight management. So that's my bread and butter, whole grain bread and butter these days, is obesity and weight management. And that is what I do every day, all day.
Great. Thank you, Kim. And what about you, Kristen?
Hi. So similar to Kim, I've always been really interested in nutrition and kind of how we use food as a fuel source for our body. I was physically active, played sports kind of growing up, and then I've always been interested in running, have done marathons, so kind of interested in the combination of nutrition as well as physical therapy. So similar to Kim, I started working the majority of my experiences in the hospitalized setting. So I worked for about 5 years or so on the inpatient side and helping patients and clients managing chronic disease and how they can optimize their nutrition and their diets to kind of help with this chronic disease management. More recently, I've transitioned to an outpatient role, so able to spend more time with patients and with clients and kind of working one-on-one to help determine these appropriate nutrition interventions to help optimize their nutrition status. And then I have a specialty certification that is a certified nutrition support clinician, which means I work with patients that require tube feeds or those that have non-functioning GI tracts, so those that are requiring IV nutrition. So those are some of the other specialty patients that I see either on the inpatient and outpatient side of things.
Wow, that's so fascinating. Thank you both. I think that when we think about, what's been happening over the last year with the pandemic, there's more of us that are spending more time at home, maybe trying to, make certain food choices at home. Kristen, this question is for you. As things have changed over the last year with the pandemic, what are some of your clients facing in terms of challenges with spending more time in their home?
That's a great question. And one of the things I hear all the time from clients is that since they're constantly home, they have constant access to the kitchen and are
Right.
snacking all the time. So I know that's an easy thing to do when you're on conference calls all day, is just to kind of continue snacking. So I typically recommend to have healthy snack options on hand. So having things like cut up fresh fruit to eat with Greek yogurt, or cut up fresh vegetables to have with guacamole or some mushed up avocado, or things like almonds or pistachios. So that way, if they are snacking more frequently, at least they're picking healthy, nutrient dense foods. That also will fill them up and hopefully lead to a little bit less snacking then throughout the day. And then the other big thing I hear from clients is the lack of physical activity from sitting at a computer all day, kind of on and off Zoom meetings, or maybe not feeling quite comfortable enough to go back to gyms yet. So I really recommend that people try to get in any kind of physical activity possible. So if that even means just getting up and walking around your house in between meetings, if that means if you're on a conference call and you're able to multitask and just walk up and down the stairs or walk around your house. And also, now that the weather's getting a little bit better, trying to go outside, which also helps decompress at the end of your workday, maybe taking a walk outside, being able to decompress and get that physical activity. And I feel like that really does help. Even small amounts here or there really will add up and help clients feel better and live a little healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, and I would think that that would help not only physically, but also emotionally, right? To be able to like have a change of scenery. Were you going to add something, Beth?
Yeah, I mean, I've just noticed, like when I go into the office, it's 1,000 steps, to the office, and 1,000 steps. So if I don't go and I work from home, that's 2,000 steps that I'm not going to get. So yeah, it does add up.
So Kim, this question is for you. So if someone's making a decision between, working with a registered dietitian or joining a program like Weight Watchers, and there's a lot of different programs that are out there, how do you describe kind of some of the differences between the services that would be provided?
I love that question. Thank you so much, because everyone's a nutrition expert, at least I think so these days. So there's a lot of unfortunate misinformation about nutrition out there, because everyone does have an opinion. But what I would like my patients and clients and friends and family members to remember is that registered dietitians are registered, licensed, boarded individuals who studied undergrad and possibly graduate school in the area of food nutrition science and medical nutrition therapy. So your registered dietitian, we go by RDs. We also go by RDNs. Our accrediting board changed it a few years ago to registered dietitian nutritionist. So when you hear the letters RD or RDN, you can have faith and confidence that the person you're talking to follows evidence-based medical nutrition therapy, which is basically how food nutrition interacts with your health. So I really appreciate when people go and seek out nutrition information, but because there's so much access to stuff these days with the internet and media, you're not always sure that you're getting the right information or individualized information for yourself. So if you're seeing a dietitian, a registered dietitian, you know that person has the training to make an individualized plan for you. So it's really similar to a lot of the other health disciplines that 2x2 works with: physical therapists, speech therapists, occupational therapists, nurses. Everyone is trained and certified and boarded. So then there's also nutritionists, and those are individuals who may have taken a class, or maybe they're personal trainers and they have an interest in nutrition, but they didn't have to prove their knowledge through an exam. So that is why seeing a dietitian is super important, and we are found all over the health sphere. And you can find us, obviously with 2x2.
All right, great.
Thank you. We love having you. I just love having the multidisciplinary approach. I think that's so important. So I'm so happy you guys have joined our team. It's been a great addition.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's key because everyone is an individual person and needs different things. So we're really happy to be able to supply some of that care.
Great.
So we really enjoyed working with you guys.
Okay. So Kristen, we've heard the term, medical nutritional therapy. Can you share a little bit with the audience what that is exactly?
Yeah, so medical nutrition therapy is an evidence based approach to chronic disease management through individualized nutrition therapy. So, what exactly does that mean? That means that together we work with clients and patients to help understand and interpret lab values. And then we use an individualized approach to target that chronic disease management. So, if somebody comes to us with diabetes, we will work together with them to help lower their hemoglobin A1C level and lower their serum glucose levels. We also work with multiple other chronic diseases. So we work with patients with kidney disease, heart disease, and many other ones. But the point is that we are using that evidence-based approach. So like Kim said, unfortunately, there's so many different resources out there. There's all sorts of nutrition blogs and different diets and things like that that aren't necessarily based on research or evidence. So the thing that dietitians do that's separate is using that evidence-based medicine to help with chronic disease management from an individualized therapy approach.
Great, thank you. And that segues perfectly into my next question, which Kim, if you could help us with this would be helpful. As Kristen mentioned, there's lots of different diets out there. And so when someone's looking and saying like, oh, what's this keto diet about? The DASH, the Mediterranean, there's all these things that are out there. How, as registered dietitians, it sounds like it's very individualized. Tell us a little bit more about like how you know what's right for you. Or how
Great question.
client.
So we take therapeutic diets and we help patients implement that into their lifestyle. So if you're trying to watch your weight or your blood sugar control, we'll talk about doing something called a consistent carbohydrate diet, or maybe even something that's a little bit lower in carb. There's probably millions of variations of diets out there. And the
Right.
other role of the dietitian is to help patients learn how to balance their relationship with food and not eat so restrictively, because we know that restrictive eating is only a temporary sort of fix, whether it be for a disease or someone's weight. So we really want to encourage patients to adopt a healthy lifestyle and understand what components of food they should be consuming more often to improve their health the most.
Mm.
So, Kristen, when someone says like, hey, maybe it's a friend or someone that says like, I'm ready to adopt a more healthy lifestyle. Like, do you have like little tips that you could share with us as a good starting point?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So one of the first places I recommend people start is just increasing fruit and vegetable consumption. We know that the average American does not eat enough fruits and vegetables throughout the day. So I recommend increasing that and having a fruit and or vegetable with each meal and with your snacks, as well as focusing on protein sources and healthy fats with meals. So we know that the combination of the fiber from the fruits and vegetables, as well as that protein and fat, is what really keeps us full for a longer period of time and gives us that feeling of satiety. So in turn, that will hopefully lead to less snacking on less nutrient dense foods. So things with added sugars and things that don't necessarily provide our body with much nutritional benefit.
Yeah, and to piggyback onto what Kristen said, we kind of categorize the American diet as the standard American diet these days, or SAD, because it is really sad. It's just full of processed foods and all of that consumption of added sugars, added salts, added wrong types of fats. And combined with our pretty sedentary lifestyle, our bodies haven't evolved that much. So our bodies are not used to taking in that kind of nutrition and using it. So that leads to a lot of patients dealing with obesity or being overweight, added fat mass, and then all the diseases that go along with higher fat mass, like cholesterol issues, heart disease, diabetes, metabolic disease. So we really try to help our patients evolve from eating a standard American diet to one that's a lot less processed, full of plants, lean proteins, any type of protein really, as long as it's unprocessed, and healthy fats. That's a big push these days because we also don't get enough healthy fats in our diet.
I feel like we could talk about this for hours. Like there's so many questions that I have. And this is just so fascinating. You're both such, you're experts and you explain it in a way that's like just so easy to understand. So thank you both for that. So I think we have time for one more question. So Kim, there's a lot of people who we're engaged with at 2x2 Health who, you know, watch us on this. What advice do you have for caregivers who are balancing taking care of others and then also trying really hard to do, you know, effective, healthy meal planning for themselves?
It's so difficult because people are so stretched these days and have very little time for self-care. If it's specifically about caregivers, obviously reaching out and getting support is the first type of behavior change that we can make. If you're struggling and you feel like you're drowning, then reach out to 2x2. We can get nursing assistance and you can touch base with your dietitian. But in terms of how to implement changes at home, meal prepping is a difficult thing to do, but it can go a long way. So trying to make a crock pot meal that we know has tons of vegetables and meat in it, and it can last you for a couple days. We recommend doing that a lot. We recommend batch baking or cooking a few, 7 or 8 chicken breasts with a ton of different vegetables and putting it all in the oven to cook off, and you have that for a few days. And then also ways of shopping where you can get more bang for your buck and also have all of those healthy, low calorie, high fiber vegetables in your diet. But I think seeking out assistance is the first way to start. And then planning with a menu or a recipe list and asking your dietitian for recommendations there.
You guys, it's been great because you have been going with patients to the clients to the grocery store and teaching them what to buy and how to prepare it. So I think it's really been helpful for people. And I can't wait for more people to learn more about your services. So thank you to Kristen and Kim, our 2x2 Health dietitians. You can learn more about dietitian support on our website at 2x2health.com/healthy living. In the meantime, be sure to check back with us as Wendy and I continue our conversations with medical experts as we help the confident patient in a new world.
And from all of us at 2x2 Health, we wish you great confidence and health. Thank you, Kim. Thanks, Kristen.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.